And now I'll move fast. I think I already know what your mistake is. So she said, I did it, but I don't have the same answer in the back of the book. Can you help me out? I suppose 8 minus x squared plus 3. Okay, cool. Huh. Now, if I want to do the exact same thing I did before, I just need to have this. It looks like it's got to be ax squared plus bx plus c. And then I can do this. H is equal to x is equal to, and remember this is my axis of symmetry right here, which is also part of the vertex, right? So that's going to be minus, what was it, b over 2a? Okay, what's a?
-1.
Well, which is it?
Because we have to put it in standard form first.
Yeah, it's the red equation doesn't look exactly like the blue equation, does it? So I got to switch some things around. Technically, I just got to take this negative x squared, move it to the front, and then it's plus 8x plus 3. So then a equals -1, b equals 8, and c equals 3.
Oh, I got it.
So now if you do it that way, it's going to be -8 over 2 times -1. You get a negative over a negative, the whole thing's 4. We got to plug that back in. We say f of 4, because this is our k value, f of 4 is equal to 8 times 4 minus 4 squared plus 3. 32 minus 16 plus 3. 32 minus 16 is 16 plus 3 is 19. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get the A and B mixed up?
Yeah, I squared the wrong one.
Okay. Any questions on that one? Does that make sense? Now this one I did a lot faster. So the question was, what is the axis of symmetry and what is the vertex? Well, the axis of symmetry occurs at x equals 4. Or the axis of the graph is what they call it. And then the vertex occurs at 4, comma, 19. Oh, you know, on the last problem, I think they asked you to write the graph in vertex form. But if we do it now, it'll make sense. Now, to write this in vertex form, we're going to make it look like this. F of x is equal to a times the quantity x minus h plus k. Oh, and this is squared. Now, I have an h and I have a k. What about the a? Do we know what a is? No. No, we do not. So how do we find a?
Isn't it -1?
Well, is it a -1?
Yeah, because that's just before the x and the other.
Hmm?
That's just before the x and the other problem.
Yeah, so we gotta, that's the only tough part, is if we write it in the vertex form, somehow we gotta figure out, it's -1, but is it the same for everything? So what she's saying is, look, a here is this a -1, would it be the same for this one?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
How do you know that?
That's what I've been doing.
That's what you've been doing and that's what has been working, but how can you prove that to me?
You can graph it.
You could graph it and it works, but there has to be a way to explain that that works.
You can plug it in.
You could plug it in. You could. Yeah. Okay. How would we know for sure? Please don't explain it, Mr. Adams. This is a lot of math already. Well, my function, we believe so far, is this. A times x minus 1
4.
squared, 4, plus 19. Okay? What we could do is we could go back. I don't know if you guys realize this or even remember this, But when this is written in this, what does C represent when it's written in that form?
The value of x.
It's the y-intercept, isn't it? Because the y-intercept occurs when x equals 0, so if I plug in a 0 here, that term goes away. If I plug in a 0 here, that term goes away. So when x equals 0, f of x, or y, equals whatever this is, which is the y-intercept. So my y-intercept occurs at 0, 3, right? Does that make sense? So I'm not saying that you guys aren't right about what the a term is, but I want you guys to show to me that a equals -1. All right? So what does that mean? Well, that means if I think of the point 0, 3, when x is equal to 0, y should be equal, or f of x should be equal to 3. So I'm going to plug in a 3 here. I'm going to plug in an a here. And now I have a 0 that goes here, minus 4 squared plus 19. Now what can I do? Do you guys see what I can do now? Now I have a bunch of numbers and a variable a. So I could solve for a and figure out exactly what a is. So 3, what's 0 minus 4, and then that whole thing is -4. What's -4 squared? 16. So I'm going to put that in the front. That's 16a plus 19. What do I do next?
Subtract 19.
Subtract 19 from both sides will give me -16 is equal to 16a. Divide both sides by 16. Wait, not the negative, but just 16. These cancel, and I get -1 is a. Now I can say with confidence that f of x is equal to -x minus 4 squared plus 19.